Hey, hope everybody had a good first little mini week, kind of getting used to all your classes. So week 2, we've got some assignments, we've got some actual lectures we're going to go through. So let's talk about that real quick. We don't have any labs, so first off, we are not going to meet on campus this week. You don't have to come. Everything is going to be online again this week. You've got 2 lecture videos that you're going to need to watch, or 2 chapters worth of lecture videos. Chapter 1 it's called A View of Life. It's just like an introduction. We're not going to get really detailed into anything in this chapter, but it's really important. Don't skip it. It's really important because we're going to talk about a bunch of concepts and a bunch of like vocabulary that we're going to use from here on out for the rest of the semester. So if you know this chapter really well, it's going to make it a lot easier on you later on as we go further. Chapter 15 is on Darwin and evolution. This is an interesting one. Now, I know that this is a chapter that a lot of people come into having like strong opinions about. But what I've found is that when I talk to students, it's also something that you might not necessarily have a really good understanding of. A lot of times high schools don't cover this at all, period. So it's a pretty neat chapter to go through. You're going to watch both of those. What I would do, like if this was a traditional class, we would meet twice a week, and on weeks that we don't have lab, we would just lecture twice. So split it up like that. Watch chapter 1, watch those lecture videos like on Monday. You could even spread it out like Monday and Tuesdays when you're going to watch those. And then Wednesday and Thursday, watch the chapter 15 lecture videos. So those videos, I've had these lectures recorded for a while. Most of them are up to date and they're really good. The problem was they were kind of long. Like I know that chapter 1 was close to like maybe even a little over 2 hours long. That's a lot. That's a long time for like a really good movie, let alone a lecture video. So what I'm doing, in some cases, I'm re-recording them and I'm just breaking them up into smaller chunks. And then on some of those old videos, I'm chopping them up where I'll take this big 2-hour lecture and I'll split it up into 4 30-minute lectures. That way you can just find something that works with your schedule. If you come in from work and it's late, but you know you got to do some work, you can just watch 1 part or 2 parts. You don't feel like you have to commit that much time. So it's up to you. You've got the freedom to do this however you want to, but just make a schedule or make a plan where you're going to cover all of those chapters this week. All right. Great thing about online and hybrid classes is that you've got the freedom to do this whenever it works for you. Just the downside is it's really easy to say, like when you don't have a time and a date to show up for lecture, it's really easy to say, well, I'll do that tomorrow. And then before you know it, you've got hours worth of videos to watch right before a test. So make a plan, make a schedule, stick to it, and watch those. Once you've watched the lecture videos, there is a review quiz that's posted under the quizzes tab, and that's going to be due the 30th. So you've got until Sunday at midnight to do that. It's just a quick 5-question review quiz. It's only worth 5 points, but we're going to have pretty much every week from here on out. Whenever we have a lecture, you're going to have a review quiz. So those 5 points week after week, they can really add up. And at the end of the semester, you can really help your grade by doing these every time. All right. This is just to give you kind of an idea of what types of questions you might see on the test. These are not necessarily test questions, but it's going to give you an idea of what types of questions you'll see on the test. All right. You can use your notes. That's perfectly okay. Now on the real test, absolutely not. You can't. But on the review quizzes, you can use your notes. That's fine. All right. Another big assignment is I've posted a practice exam, and you can find that in the exams tab to the left. 2 main reasons I'm doing this. Number 1 is to make sure that we can use Respondus Lockdown Browser. That's the program that we're going to use for test. Your first test is coming up soon. It is September 7th and 8th is when I have it open. So we need to make sure that you can use this program before the test. The other reason, and honestly this is probably the main one, is there are some steps that you're going to have to go through to make sure that you get credit. So you're going to have to take a picture of yourself, a student ID or some type of a photo ID. And then the big one is you're going to do an environment video where you show your desk or table surface in front of you, show a 360 of your environment. And then the webcam is going to record you throughout the exam. So you have to be focused on the computer. You can't, be doing this thing right here like you're looking up answers or anything like that. So just to get all of that out of the way and to get practice, I posted a practice exam And you do not have to study for it. The questions are literally things like how many letters are in the word biology and stuff like that. It's just to make sure you can use the program and that you know how to follow those instructions. If you will do that as soon as you can, they're going to be due on Monday, August 31st. But if you'll do that as soon as you can, I'll review it. And if you did everything right, I'll give you 5 bonus points. If you didn't, if you skipped a step, or if there was an issue, I'll send you a message and say, hey, you need to redo your video. Make sure that you actually show your desk or table surface. Don't do this number. I say this every semester, like it'll be time to redo your environment video and students will go and like expect that to be okay. I don't care what's behind your shoulder. I want to see what's in front of you and a 360 of your environment. So do that, 5 bonus points, and we'll make sure that we understand what we got to do for the real test. Any assignments last week, most of you have done all these already, but any assignments last week, like the About Me survey, the syllabus quiz, the diversity quiz, make sure you do all those because those are all due on Sunday the 30th. And then lastly, just a reminder, next week is when we're going to meet for lab. So you need to go through, go to the syllabus, and at the very last page, there's a section on COVID policies for in-person attendance. We are on the East Broad campus. The science building is on the East Broad campus. So there is one designated entrance that you have to go through. It's not on George Wallace, that main road that runs through the college. On the back side of the campus on East Broad, there is a gated entrance that you're going to have to drive through there. You'll have to get your temperature checked. They've got thermal scanners where they'll check your forehead, and as long as you don't have a fever, they will give you a wristband, and that's like your pass to be on campus that day. All right, they're different colors every day, so you'll have to get that day's wristband. Let's see, what else? Mask mandate, you have to have those in class. I'll have one too. I know they're not the most comfortable, but I'll be up there talking a lot more than you, so I'll keep mine on, you keep yours on. It's, like I said, state mandate at this point, and it's also Gadsden State's policy. Just a heads up, I don't think this is going to be an issue, but just to show how serious Gadsden State is about this, our policy, like what they're telling us, we have to, if a student doesn't have a wristband or if a student is not wearing a mask, we have to ask you to leave. You cannot be on campus or inside the building if you don't do those things. So, like I said, I know it's kind of frustrating, but we're doing everything we possibly can to have a chance at least to meet in person, because I think we all want to do that rather than just jump online. If you had to do that last semester, I know that that's not ideal. So this is a better situation. I think that is about it. There's a COVID waiver on the top left. Make sure you print that, sign it, and bring it with you. And then just remember that you will have to have your lab manual next week too. So if you haven't bought that yet, go to the bookstore or you can order it. But you'll bring that with you because you're going to actually be filling out answers in the lab book next week. Okay? So I think that's got it. If you have any questions, let me know and I can help.